Hey guys, welcome to our first free session. Definitely a lot of you guys are still jumping in. I know that a lot of you guys know me, so I'm not going to waste your time about telling you who I am. I want to tell you just that I'm in the market for the last 17 years, for so too long. And definitely I want to start to do these kind of streams every week, at least to have 1 to 2 free sessions. I love to work sessions with my members. We are going to talk about that a little bit later, but let's dive to the charts. First and most important part for today, guys, is that you have two important data that can move the market quickly. If you don't hear me okay, just let me know. I believe that everything should be working correctly. Like uh, when I'm watching right now the Forex calendar, better to say economic calendar, we have the PPI data coming from the US in 30 minutes. This is going to be the first news that's going to move the market for today. But right after that, in about hour and a 1 hour 45 minutes from now, we have the raise coming from Bank of Canada. Now, let's talk first about that. We're not expecting Bank of Canada to change the rates, so I'm not expecting much impact from there, but I'm looking to see their press conference. Their press conference is, I believe, in 2 hours from now. So just because of that, you need to pay attention since we know that they are going to hold the rates right now, and I don't expect from Bank of Canada to surprise us at that regard, but I want to hear what they are going to do next. That's what press conference is all about. So that's really going to be the key mover, especially for the commodity pairs. During this session, I want to quickly cover, technically speaking, what I usually cover with my members. And it's usually this list. So from the Forex market, we are covering dollar index, euro, pound, Aussie, Kiwi, dollar CAD, dollar yen, euro yen, pound yen, euro CAD, euro Aussie, pound Aussie. From commodities, crude, gold, silver, and copper. And from the crypto market, Bitcoin and Ethereum. Definitely, this list right now is not fixed. We are always trying to add more stuff, especially since a lot of you guys know that I privately trade a lot of NQs and DAX, so we can always cover everything. Since I always wanted to, let's say, create something that you don't need to think that much, we're just going to use, technically speaking, one of my indicators. This indicator is called framework, and it's really the indicator that follow everything that I teach over the Operation 100K. So it's not the indicator that will be your holy grail or things like that, but it's the one of the best tool I designed to help me better do the research and prepare for what's coming next fast. The first and most important part when we are talking about how I trade is I always want to know what side of the market I want to be trading. So the first part is the trend. We are going to see here on the indicator that it's a bearish. And until that change, I want to look only for the short setups. Now, definitely dollar index is a little bit choppy. From the start of July, we are seeing a little bit of range. That previous week high and previous week's low range is only thing I'm looking at the moment. So I'm not expecting anything crazy, especially since with what's happening in the world and that idea of what's happening with Iran. As a trader, you always want to hear a good part. about the development on Iran, but unfortunately, we didn't got that. Trumpy fucked that part for us lately, and market is again in that trouble mood. But only thing that's for sure is that one of these levels, so either 126 or 195, is going to be reached next. In terms of trading, I would really love to be a seller from some important level. So at least from 101, I can start thinking about trading back to the middle of this range, or if market return to last week's low, I want to start thinking about buying this part. If we want to follow the trend idea, definitely I would need to look for what? For a short setups. We are seeing that market is still around the weekly open. So whatever happened during the first couple of days of this week, market is still the same. We didn't really find more buyers or more sellers that took control and gave us a trend. And until that really don't happen, it's going to be a waste of time of trying to see who is going to win. Definitely we have a PPI later on, like in 25 minutes, so that can potentially be a catalyst that can move us quickly, establish the trend. But even that catalyst, in my view, won't last long. Since if we get any new tweet around Iran, market will move. So whatever happens next is going to have the short-term impact. So you can see we have the order block down here, and for people that doesn't know what order block is, it's more just a supply or a demand zone that you can use for potential entries. And just because dollar index is in range, it's hard to get a great bias on other pairs for today, but let's see what we have. Euro USD is moving lower. During the UK session, I wanted to see market lower. We are approaching a bullish order block, so a potential zone from where market can find find a good buyers and start moving higher. Definitely, I believe that we are going to reach that order block really soon, so definitely something to watch. Of course, PPI is there, is going to move the market. The trend, at least the short term, looks bullish for me personally. This part over here looks like some sort of a correction, some sort of a flag formation. And that's why I would be fine with the idea of trying to get into a long position after we get some sort of a confirmation. So after a test of the bullish order block that's going to happen probably within the next 15 to 20 minutes, better to say 22 minutes, because that's exactly when we have news coming up. I would love to see the market returning closing at least above 114.20. And I see closing in a 15 minutes time frame. Keep in mind that I'm always trying to get the trend reading from a higher time frame, but since indicator is doing that part for me already, and need to switch to a different time frame to get that trend. And after this part, I'm thinking to get into long position against the low of the day and just try to get here current day's high, so 114.43 to maybe previous week's highs. So nothing special, I'm just trying to see how market is going to do. Of course, if market close below this order block, I would love to see price reaching yesterday's lows, so 113.77 before I change anything. Why I like this indicator so much is just because you always know your invalidation point. So for the long setups, invalidation is 113.77. And while market don't tell us differently, I want to look only for the long setups. Pound dollar also bullish as a trend. We are sideways, a little bit choppy. We didn't find a support around some order block, but we found the support around weekly open. That weekly open is going to play the key role for majority of the pairs this week. So why not? Let's see how news come. But if we get any type of a bad data, something similar that we seen yesterday during the CPI, we may expect to see a retest of a previous day's high, so yesterday's highs, and higher level fast. Invalidation for the short-term trend is here, 133.66. While that hold, we want to look for a long setups. If I need to worry about when I would look for the trade, definitely I would suggest that you wait for the data to come, wait a couple of minutes and trade. Definitely more aggressive approach would be to start thinking of buying right now, using this as a stop, but you won't get any decent any decent risk reward. Retail here you won't get even 1 to 2. So for me, that's really not acceptable. Of course, if you get the pullback and you start buying the pullback, fine. Because every trade I take, I want to get at least 1 to 2. Everything below 1 to 2 really won't work out in the long run for me. I know some gurus tell you 1 to 1 is the best part, but in general, having that good win rate is not always possible, especially during the year that we have right now. A lot of uncertainty in the world, a lot of things going on, a lot of movements, a lot of strong movements that happen instantly. And if you're not prepared, it's really easy to get lost. Aussie trend is bullish, definitely bullish. We are seeing a little bit of sideways price action, but how this looks like a potential triangle. I mean, I like that combination of formations just because I'm a wave trader, so formations are in my nature, and I love that part. For this triangle to work, better to start with that idea of what triangles really mean. Triangle is a continuation formation and suggests the potential continuation of the previous trend. And we all know that previous trend was a nice push higher. So we need to see market closing above this trend line and more importantly above 69.90. And from there trying to get a pullback place that can easily work out. I wouldn't rule out, especially because of the news, another test of the previous week's highs because that offered a nice support yesterday. So I wouldn't rule that as option. We have a larger order block. When I say a large order block, I mean 1 hour order block, since our indicator is automatically scanning for all order blocks on any time frame that you want. But for me personally, I really love to get a trend from, let's say, 4 hour time frame, while to get a good order blocks around 1 hour. Kiwi dollar similar to Aussie dollar. We are narrowing. Like I love this part, but I know it's hard to watch just because market is not doing much. both sides can work out, and you need to be patient. That's really one of the biggest problem with most traders, especially if you're new to trading, that waiting for that perfect setup is going to be the hardest part to master. But trust me when I say, guys, I'm doing this for 17 years, and even after 17 years, sometimes it's hard to wait to see if market is going to break the triangle to the upside and then continue towards the yesterday's highs and break higher, or if market is going to break down, test the bullish order block from down here, and from there try to move higher. Whatever happen, I want to try it. If I need to pick which pair is better, Aussie dollar or Kiwi dollar, at this moment I really believe Kiwi dollar. But I would never try to buy now just because we have the news in 15 minutes, and that can really just wipe you, put your stops and move higher. So it's better to wait, see the news, see how market will react, and from there decide your game plan. Dollar CAD, let's see what's dollar CAD doing. Definitely a little bit of a higher price action. The trend is bearish. For me, I would love to see a further push down in the short term. Maybe not the long term, because if you move the time frame, definitely dollar CAD had a really nice bull run. Like this year, we had seen the dollar CAD doing something I didn't see for a long time. Like really strong, clean moves. We are seeing a retest of that movement right now, especially since if you can count this part as a double top, so a short-term recovery coming. Our indicator found a potential bullish order block here, 139.40. So I would love to see the market reaching there if I want to try to pick up a long, but a short term market is bearish. We have the 1 hour order block here. So we'll see after the news what's going to happen if market really want to go for a higher to pick liquidity, or if just this task of 140.74 is going to be enough. Short term, for the downside, I would really love the market to close below 140.63. So I want 15 minutes candle to close below there. And ideally not that before the news. After the news, guys. After that, we can look for a further push down for the new low of the day, and probably this liquid test at 139.95. Short term, this looked like a trail leg move, so some sort of a flag. But I wouldn't rule out that idea of a test of order blocks here and here before market return lower. Yen pairs are probably something that I'm not that keen on trading. I want to explain you why I'm not that keen on trading them. If you look the levels, we didn't see these levels in years. I even didn't trade it when dollar yen was around these highs last time, like 20 years ago. For me, the price action here looks like a triangle. So triangle is what? Triangle is a continuation formation suggesting that we want to see a push higher. But it's hard for me to start the buying because Bank of Japan started to intervene a lot this year. They intervene a lot of times, and you can see that price action, that ugly strong moves every single time. And how much I want to be a buyer is really hard because I'm afraid that I will get stopped out, wiped out because of their interventions. So maybe some small scalps fine, but everything else nothing. For me, buy side will hold, well, we hold above 160, 160. And well, that's the case, we can look for the long setups. Yen was one of the pairs I talked about with my members during the UK session, and how much Yen say bullish. That much we tested a larger bearish order block, and this was a good reversal setup for me. Like we moved down, we closed nicely below this part. So a pullback plays against this part, this high at 185.61 are definitely worth trying. At the moment, we are around a nice support zone. I still believe that this can go lower, but if you're not in a trade, stay aside. Because in trading, you need to understand that if you miss the trade, you shouldn't chase that trade. You should wait for the next one. For example, pound yen, the same story, but we missed that part. Like during the UK session, we didn't reach this order block. We reached that part now, market is rejecting. So from here, I would be fine with trying to get into the short position after we take down this 270.31 and then a pullback plays would be fine. Just as a short-term reversal setups. Because if I want to trade in a direction of the trend, I want to look for the long setups. And if you are like me, don't want to always wait for that perfect timing in the market, you can trade against the trend. Now, for the longs, I would love the market to close above that order block, and then I can use the retest of the order block as a potential trade towards the previous week's highs. So both sides are fine. We have 8 minutes till the news. We'll see how market react together. Also, Eurocad bearish, 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 but we have the news. So trend can change because of that. Maybe not because of the rates, but because of the press conference. In any case, I would skip dollar cat. I would skip the euro cat for now. Too much going on. There are other options that are much better, like that can quickly be much better options for you guys. So let's see. Euro Aussie. Similar story. We are bearish. Trend is down. I would love to see how market will react from 163.70, this bearish order block, and from there to try to pick up some short plays towards the new lows. Let's see a pound Aussie. Trend is down. We are approaching small area that can give us some sort of a resistance. But in general, here I would really love to see market at least coming to 192.40. But that's this part. or even this hourly order block before I continue to look for the sell positions. I believe that don't believe all this will give us something special. But let's see. Crude sideways all morning. Not much price action. Trend is bullish. What we need to take into consider mm, into mind is that we have that gap that is still not filled. The trend is bullish. The what's happening with Iran is definitely suggesting more bullish price action. Short term, I'm bullish. Long term, definitely would say more bearish. Since I don't believe governments would really allow allow higher prices of a crude. And as you can see, where crude found the support. Crude found the support after filling the gap. So want to see if we can find some resistance here. So short term, I want to see that gap being filled. We'll see what to do, but short term, probably buy side is the better option. Especially if we take into account that if market close above this bearish order block, we can use it to try to pick up some small points towards the 84. Gold. Gold is crazy. If we go on the higher time frame, definitely we return to that bearish cycle. But gold is a pair that's a little bit different in terms of trading compared to other instruments. Gold have that trend that really change seasonally. And there is a reason why everything is like that. But usually you are coached that when there is a bullshit going on in the world, that people want to buy gold because it's a safe bet. And technically speaking, most people that tried that approach, at least during this year, failed badly. I really don't believe that we've seen that low in gold. Maybe a short term we get the pullback, all cool, but I really think that we have more room towards the downside before market move higher. So in a long term situation, I'm more bearish. Short term, I can scalp here and there like yesterday. I can scalp towards the upside, but at the moment, let's see. Short term, you can say we have head and shoulder formation, and that head and shoulder formation will move us higher. It's going to move in a few minutes, so we'll see if this hourly order block will hold or it's going to be taken down, and then we can use it to try to trade over yesterday's highs, or better to say, towards the weekly open. Or if markets start to move lower, looking for this part, previous day's low. Nothing special, nothing bad, nothing big. In case we drop down, you can count this as a potential flag and continue to look for a push lower. If I want to say what I prefer more, I would prefer more to see a push lower. Like push lower will, in my view, be a better option. So let's see. Silver similar to gold, you're just even testing that push lower much more. The part why I don't like silver at the moment is this choppy movement. For me, this more look like some sort of a veg play, and I'm not that big fan of that. Since I can't use the tight stops, I can find the setups, but all setups will be one to one, and like I said earlier, I'm not going to take those. So I want to see market returning here, and from there try to see a price action, and if there is a chance for me to take a short. But if market continue to trade like this, I'm not going to take it. Gold is a better option. Copper can be a better option. We have a bullish as a trend. We want to see, see, we had the PPI 4.7, which is worse than expected. Let's see the price action. The see, like keep in mind, I didn't draw anything from here. I mean, like this part, everything here is being done with by the indicator. That's why I love using the tool, since I don't need to worry about you guys seeing a different thing compared to me. So what I want to see now would be a close. That 15 minutes candle close above this part. And the stronger the close, the more confirmation we have that market is ready to push higher. From a news, it's 50-50. It's not that bad, but it's not really great. I really believe that Euro can be that push higher, but let's see. We need a confirmation. That's why a lot of people failed. You need to wait for a confirmation. I'm not going to rush anything. So let's see. Bitcoin trend is currently showing a bullish side. We seen that spike lower in dollar index yesterday after CPI. So it's not that strong reason why the Bitcoin is strong. It's ugly. It's sideways. It's not triangle. Like I would love that it's triangle, but this is not triangle. More looking like a potential head and shoulders, and head and shoulders is a formation that suggests a potential short-term trend change. But in theory, if we manage to close above this 64.8872, we may see the new high, so 65,400 and higher levels next. Because we tested the liquidity here, so we are seeing that part. Of course, we still have the Canada and news from that, but let's see. Ethereum also found the support at the order block, market moving higher. I want to see a close above these highs if I want to look for a higher levels. In terms of trading, fine in both like Bitcoin and Ethereum right now, but you need to wait for those confirmations. Like wait for the market to close above the highs. From there, pullback plays are fine and can be profitable. So let's see how dollar index will react. Like if this order block will find some buyers or we are going lower. Definitely would more prefer to stay with the trend that say lower. Everything is as expected. So for now, I don't want to touch much. Like Aussie is trying to break this part. Definitely, if we close this part, I would love to get into pullback plays, but only after that. Kiwi, same story. market is reacting. Dollar CAD reacting right away. So we'll see how press conference will work that part out. I still can't rule out that possibility of seeing the market heading for the order blocks before we move down, but current market suggests that maybe these small retests are enough for the dollar CAD to move. Yeah, nothing but pounding can move higher because of pound, especially if pound continue to move. So let's see. Now, before we finish, guys, let me just see something. Okay, before we see, I want to show you like how this look from the members area because we are working every day like this, and the goal is that we are going to start doing more every single day because we are going to keep a free session every week at least once. But what's the best part about my members and why they like it? Keep in mind, this is something that we just finished. This is the latest version. First of all, you have the educational part. So you have all the lessons that I believe you need to know and understand as a trader. But what's important to me was always to figure out how you and I can have the same charts. That's why we developed the indicator. It took me, I believe, 4 months. And we are still developing. We won't stop working on the indicator. But indicator is built only for the trading view. But you don't need to have the trading view just because you have the live updates of 13 pairs at the moment, and we will add to 20 till the end of the month with a real-time chart update every 15 minutes and on any signal. So fresh you always have the fresh data available for you. So you always know the reason. Everything is always being done from my chart, so you always see the same thing. You always have that access to the indicator that's being given to all the members for free. There is no charge for that part. You can just get the indicator, but at the moment, all the all the members are getting the indicator access here, and you have the sessions. I'm not sure if it's going to. So it's always going to be there like UK US session. We are going to work 2 sessions from the start of the next month. There will be a lot of trading rooms going on and much more. This is all I wanted to share with you. Hope you like this part, guys. If you want to learn more about Operation 100K, you can always visit my site at nicoladelic.com/op100k and you can learn more how to join. If you have any question, guys, feel free to let us let me know. If not, I'll see you all next week. Hey guys, thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you all soon. Cheers.